Thank you. Oh,
Oh, we can put it up
later.
later.
Okay, I'll just admit everybody on the Zoom in. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. Mommy. Can you move so it's curved?
Yeah, because it's gonna go into the screen for the.
Yes. It's more visible.
Hold on, just letting these guys know that you have the Zoom account for them to manage it. Hold on, PC on podium. Where MC is. We'll start in 5 minutes.
University of the South Pacific's Lodala Campus, Japan Pacific ICT Theater in Suva for this year's 2022 Pacific Hackathon event. We are honored and excited that you are able to join us here on campus, and to our participants and guests who have joined us virtually. If you're joining us from the PICISOC Facebook live stream, thank you, and I'm confident that you will stay online with us for the duration of the program. Good morning all, my name is Moira Wilson Iranduva, and I will be your mistress of ceremony for this morning's formalities. I work here at the university not as a software programmer or an IT professional, but as someone who does the talking in our events. And with that short introduction, let us start today's event acknowledging the kind sponsors for this event, the delegation of the European Union for the Pacific, EU, Pacific Islands Association of Non-Governmental Organization, PIANGO, Pacific Islands chapter of the Internet Society, PICISOC, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and the University of the South Pacific. And also to thank the team that has put this program together. Vinaka Vakalevu, and we appreciate your efforts and your support in this two-day event. Our virtual participants, we acknowledge you and appreciate your eagerness to be part of our event. This morning, we have been online since 8 a.m. And we really appreciate your patience for waiting for the Fiji time, 9 a.m. I have a couple of housekeeping announcements to make for our face-to-face participants. Before we go right into the welcoming remarks from representatives from PICISOC, UNDP, and PIANGO, and the keynote address from our chief guest. Restrooms or toilets, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's just outside the main entrance where you came in. Smokers, should you need to indulge, you will need to walk back out the way you came to the front entrance of campus, of Lodala campus. USP is a smoke-free university. So therefore, if you really need the urge to take a puff or two, I encourage you to do it during lunch hour. It's longer, and you can take a stroll down to the main road, because if you're found smoking on campus around the premises here, you'll be fined. Evacuation, should there be an evacuation for any reason, please exit. You'll see it clearly marked there. The light is yet to be turned on, but it will when we need to run out that side. Power cuts, yes, we still live in the Pacific. We still do have power cuts. If the power does go out, please remain inside. We also have backup generators to facilitate our event today. And rubbish, this is very, very important. I know we are all adults, but there are numerous bins around the venue, so please assist us by ensuring you place all of your rubbish in these bins. For our virtual participants, I kindly remind you to mute your microphones for the next 45 minutes or so, or until we end the formalities. With these kind reminders, ladies and gentlemen, I now call on the USB chaplain to bless our program and the two-day event with a prayer.
Thank you, MC. Before I go into the prayer, I just like to share one Bible verse, and which is from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3. And it says that, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. Let's all bow our head and we pray. Heavenly Father, we come before your holy throne this morning. We thank you for the time and the moment that you have given us. The King of the King and the Lord of the Lord, the God of all possibilities, the God who made the way unto the Red Sea, the God who was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the God who turned the water into the wine, and the God who is with us today. Heavenly Father, I commit today's meeting into your mighty hand. Lord, I pray for all the delegates. I pray for all the participants, all the stakeholders this morning. I give their life into your hand. And Father, I pray that your mighty hand be on today's meeting, the King of the King and the Lord of the Lord. Heavenly Father, I also would like to end today's prayer with the most important prayer that you have taught us in the Bible, and which is the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen.
Recording in progress.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar, for blessing our program and for the kindly reminder for us today. And apologies for any technicalities that will follow through during the day, either online, on Zoom, or even here in the theater. I ask for your apology and any inconvenience caused. I have the pleasure to give the floor to the representatives from PICISOC and UNDP for the welcome remarks. This will be followed by a representative from PIANGO with an opening speech before I introduce and invite our guest of honor for his keynote address. The floor is all yours, Miss Letitia Masai. She's tuning in from the Solomon Islands. And after Letitia would be Miss Yamasrek Woki.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. European Union Ambassador for the Pacific and to Fiji, His Excellency Sujiro Singh. UNDP Representative, Deputy Resident Representative, Ms. Yamasrek Woki. Pacific Islands Association of NGOs, Representative, Ms. Emmeline Tiale. Dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure as the chair of the Pacific Islands chapter of the Internet Society Board to welcome you all to the first ever Pacific Hackathon. This event is a milestone for PICISOC as it brings a new dynamic and energy to the network. Importantly, it brings together young and innovative technologists from the Pacific Islands interested in solving problems faced the Pacific Islanders. PICISOC, as a regional civil society organization, focuses on local issues and developments in the Pacific region and seeks to provide impartial advice to the governments and public on internet-related matters that are relevant to Pacific Islanders. We are grateful to our partner in this event, the Pacific Islands Association of NGOs, for providing a problem statement that our hackathon participants can find solutions to which will strengthen PIANGO's role in raising critical issues voiced by the country chapters and networks. The Pacific Hackathon is made possible through the generous funding of the European Union for the UNDP's strengthening of public finance management and governance project. PICISOC is honored to be a recipient of the PFM project small grant scheme to host this event. To our partners, the University of the South Pacific, thank you for your continuous support to our events by providing a venue in USP Fiji campus for our participants. The Samoa IT Association and the Oceania Cybersecurity Center for providing mentors and leading and delivering the mentor session. FNZ for providing us with a judge, Tonga Women in IT, Cybervise, hub coordinators, and project event leads for the tremendous groundwork in making sure participants are well informed. Sincere gratitude to our former PICISOC board members in securing this grant that allows us to connect young technologists in the Pacific and provides an opportunity to learn from each other in designing a solution to a Pacific problem. To our mentors, we equally appreciate your time, expertise, and support as we look forward to a rewarding experience working together with you in the next 2 days. To our participants, I can assure you that this is a unique experience for you to contribute your skills, talent, and creativity to a problem that affects all of us in the Pacific. I am sure you will gain valuable experience, expert advice, new skills, and new friends in the Pacific through this event. PICISOC, through its network, looks forward to supporting the most promising solution from this hackathon to develop their projects and implement it for PIANGO. On behalf of the PICISOC board and membership, I thank you all for being part of this historical event, and we look forward to seeing the solutions you come up with for amplifying our Pacific voices. Happy hacking. Thank you.
Thank you too much, Leticia. I now invite Ms. Yamasret-Woki.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MC. Ambassador of the European Union for the Pacific, His Excellency Mr. Sujiro C. The Executive Director of PIANGO, Mrs. Emily Sial, representative of the Pacific Island Chapter of Internet Society, PICISO, esteemed guests, both in person here and online. Last but not least, the Pacific Hackathon participants from the region and the world you are logging in from. I see that over 22 people have already logged in. I'm sure there could be many. Good morning, and Yadra from Fiji. It's an absolute delight for me on behalf of UNDP to be physically present here at the University of the South Pacific to welcome you to what I understand is the first ever Pacific-led online hackathon. At the outset, I wish to acknowledge the generous support of the European Union towards the UNDP Pacific Strengthening Public Finance Management and Governance Project in the Pacific, better known as PFM project, which enabled our partnership with the Pacific Internet Society in this event today. I wish to commend the Pacific Internet Society for hosting this Pacific Hackathon and for reaching out to your regional and global community to come together to help civil society find innovative digital solutions to amplify Pacific voices and ensure that no one is left behind. The very sense and objective of this hackathon is in line with UNDP's digital strategy of 2022 to 2025, which aims to support countries and communities use digital technologies to get ahead of the ever-evolving digital reality to accelerate work towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Digitalization is also one of the 3 enablers of UNDP's strategic plan to realize its ambitious goal. Conversations on digital solutions can seem far-fetched and far from the realities of marginalized communities in the Pacific. We know that the many inequalities we witness in the real world and which hamper our development are often mirrored and sometimes amplified in the digital realm. Access to the broadband in the Pacific is, with some exceptions, extremely costly and varies widely from man to man, from islands to outer islands. Yet digital results are a part of the solutions as much as they are a part of the challenge that we are trying to handle. I don't think I need to mention the often life-saving services technology has offered in recent years, especially after we all have gone through the COVID pandemic, which isolated us for over 2 years. For this, we are grateful to the Pacific Internet Society to mobilize its network and members around such a worthy cause. I wish to underscore here that UNDP in the Pacific also created an accelerator lab, which is our digital hub, the innovation hub that tries and handles very difficult development challenges in the Pacific. And for this year, they are focusing on the plastic challenge, as well as the digital divide in the outer islands, finding appropriate solutions in the Pacific. So if any one of you are interested in that, kindly reach out to our accelerator lab. We are also thankful to PIANGO, the team, and its executive director, Emilia, for embracing the idea of going digital and providing the much needed guidance on the development of innovative digital solutions to amplify Pacific voices. In this regard, I wanted to recognize the work of so many of our partners through the Pacific, but specifically the work of the Civil Society Forum Tonga, who for the past 5 years has been experimenting with such idea in creating a digital platform for citizen voices. Just last week, the Pacific Island Forum held paramount discussion between its members and international financial institutions and lenders on debt in the Pacific. At the opening, 2 voices stood out, calling for debt not to be a burden for future generations. These voices reminded political and technical decision makers the money they manage is ultimately the citizens' money, citizens' current and future. These 2 voices came from civil society organizations, including PIANGO, reframing the debates and keeping decision makers focused on the end goal and people they serve is only one of the functions of the civil society that provides them. I know that we will hear more about the event in the remarks that will follow. Again, I welcome you all and wish you the very best for this inaugural Pacific Hackathon. I look forward to viewing the pitch from your innovative ideas. More importantly, seeing your prototypes turn into tools to advance and strengthen the work of civil society in the Pacific region. Vinaka Vakalevu. Thank you very much.
Vinaka Vakalevu, thank you very much for the welcoming remarks. For those of you who have just joined us on this face-to-face space, can you kindly move a bit forward? There's a lot of space, and it's important that we capture you on our Zoom and live stream as well. And thank you for making the time to be with us. Also, on that note, with our virtual participants, we had more than 140 registered this morning. I'm sure some of them have just gone to mix coffee or grab a cup of tea, and they will join us later. But our live stream, we've got a lot of viewers, and people are already showing the likes. So thank you very much. I now have the honor to invite Miss Emmeline Siale Ilolahia from PIANGO.
Good morning, everyone here in the room, and also those that are connected online. Kole peke u whangai whatapu, kai ata moau e whangamali e koe ni ke u whaetaki lea whawhawhonga i PIANGO. Acknowledging the presence of our EU ambassador to the Pacific, the representative from USP this morning, but also our team from the Internet Society who have put together the program and bring all the different partners either directly or go through other partners. The way they had reached out to PIANGO has been through the UNDP public finance management team. And it's always been a privilege and a pleasure to be in the room together with the ambassador of the EU, who has been a key partner of the public finance management. Through the UNDP, PIANGO had managed to implement small grant program in 7 of our member countries to develop a citizen budget guide tool that help the citizens of those 7 countries to participate in the national budget process of government. Yeah? And then you always recognize that some of these exercises are being looked at as technical, only done by economics people, finance experts in our various countries in the Pacific. Hardly any work done to encourage civil society and citizens to participate in those difficult kind of technical expertise expected. What we have found so far, that is not that hard. Once you provide our citizens, our people, our young people, the tools to specifically look for where the money goes, yeah, and to advocate that the money that government are using is our money, people's money. Yeah? So this gives us all the reason why we should be participating in that process. Making sure that the money that we pay taxes and everything else that we contributed to the development of our countries has to go back to the people that are mostly in need. Yeah? And that's really the role of civil society. And that has been through the investment of the EU, through the UNDP in the partnership that we had. And I'm so happy to see the USPR coming on board in the Pacific IT Society. The other thing that I'm quite impressed, and I would say what has triggered me to jump on board when they invite PIANGO to be participating here, is the involvement of our young people and our young women. Yeah? And as soon as they invite me to join, I saw Oliana and a few of our other young women. I said, yes, this is it for me. Because this ICT has been for a while in our region being a dominated male profession. Yeah? And then we started to see even our colleagues from the Solomon Islands who welcome us to this program. It's amazing and it's inspiring. And I, for one, is something that I believe that women has a specific role to play in the development of our Pacific. For PIANGO, we are present in 24 countries and territories in the Pacific. Our network is the umbrella NGOs that they play a lot of convening, bringing civil society together. And you all know civil society is a very informal sector. So our role is kind of put some sense of formality or some sense of coordinations to a very informal sector. But nonetheless, the role of civil society in our development is always looked at as the third sector, because a lot of time we refer to our government as the public sector, our private sector, the businesses, but we do also have a role to play, and we advocate for that. The civil society has the same recognitions, and we are quite clear that in the development space at the global level, with the development effectiveness, I'm sure some of you students will come across that, has provided the opportunity for civil society to be recognized as an equal development actors in our own right. And so PIANGO is one of those that determined to claim those spaces, to make sure that we are recognized at the national level, at the regional level, at the global level, that we have a lot to contribute, particularly speaking on behalf of our minority groups, our vulnerable groups, women, children, people with disability, and those that are not able to be provided the space to raise their voices of their concerns, that of their struggle on a daily basis. So that leads us to this engagement in the hackathon today and tomorrow, where we have been given the opportunity to provide our problem statement. So our IT expert in the Pacific will be given the opportunity to find or come up with some solutions. And the COVID-19 has really given us the opportunity to explore online and ICT solutions to some of the long-standing problems that we had faced, particularly in areas where we find that civil society's voices are not being heard or not being given due process to understand how our voices can be channeled through it to influence the public policy in our various countries, even here at the regional space where PIANGO is present. So with that opportunity to work with the hackathon organizers was really to look at an opportunity, find the solutions where civil society's voices can be heard, can be amplified, because the current practice is that we will be invited by government to provide feedback or opinion or experiences to reflect on some of the public policies like the day before it's due. Yeah? So how do you deal with that? Yeah? We pick up the phone, call our members in country, call a few people that we know, what your thought, or we pull up a number of policy papers that has been presented in the past. And so it's required a bit of time to develop those feedback. And the more you're given the last minute approach, the more that you are distanced from the voices of the people in the community because you don't have time. What we usually do is that either we convene a national consultation or a regional consultation where we provide space for other experts on specific thematic areas to provide us with reality on the ground, to present our position papers to the decision makers in a way that it make an influence on the policy to impact or positively impact the life of our people. And when you are denied that opportunity to do it properly, that the whole consultation, which one of the reasons why we believe in consultation, because there's a process where you get consenting of people about policies that affected them. And when you don't have that, when that is absent, then you started to see the disconnections between policy and people. And so this opportunity of helping to design an apps or an IT tool that can help us just press a button, and then your members in country can just like type in their everyday experiences, their everyday livelihood, how they see things. Yeah, climate change, for example. When you go to the community, they may not connect the whole global warming to the global level. Yeah, they may not connect the science, but their everyday living is impacted by climate change. So how do you connect policies and people is what this opportunity is presented to us using ICT. I'm the last person that should talk about ICT because I'm that old age where I may know a little bit, but not all. But that shouldn't stop us from exploring. And that's what the COVID-19 environment has taught us. And that has been a learning opportunity as well for our civil society, where our civil society are often made up of people that has been gone through a whole lot of journey, and they have now become a bit, older in their approach. But this is an opportunity of learning and how we, civil society, can engage our young people in what they enjoy doing with ICT, but then to connect. And so this is an opportunity, as I said, with our problem statement, is to connect policy to people using ICT and to make sure that the voices of our people are being heard using the technology and how we amplify those voices so it could influence public policy. Wish you all the best, and those that are participating and those that are going to mentor the program and also those that are going to judge, which I'm so looking forward to that opportunity.
Malo Alpito, Miss Emmeline Siale Ilolahia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to introduce our guest of honor this morning, head of the delegation of the European Union for the Pacific, His Excellency, Ambassador Sujiro Sim. Ambassador Sujiro Sim was born on October 5th, 1971 in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and currently serves as Ambassador of the European Union for the Pacific since 1st September 2019. Prior to the EU delegation, he was the Ambassador of France in Suva with accreditation to Fiji, Kiribati, Nauru, Tonga, and Tuvalu. In 2013 to 2017, before he arrived in our country in Fiji, he was Consul General of France in Houston, Texas, United States of America, with jurisdiction over Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. Before that, he was Deputy Director for Development and Global Public Goods at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Paris, in France. From 2009 to 2011, before being a Deputy Director for Development and Global Public Goods, he was the Assistant Director for Food Security and Economic Development at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Paris, France. Prior to that, he was Counselor for Fisheries, Maritime Policy, Regional Development, outermost regions and overseas countries and territories at the Permanent Representation of France to the European Union in Brussels, in Belgium. He was also seconded National Expert at the European Commission, Directorate General for Trade, Dispute Settlement Unit in Brussels, Belgium. And in 1998 to 2001, he was member of the Legal Affairs Directorate of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, European and International Economic Law Division in Paris, France. He was educated at the National School of Administration in Strasbourg and Paris in France, the Institute of Political Studies in Paris, as well as the Paris Graduate School of Management in France. He speaks French, his native language, fluent in English, Russian, practical certificate of commercial Russian from 1992, Chinese, and he is married to Madam Jane Sim and has 2 children. Ambassador Sujiro completed his military service in the French Army in 1995 as a second lieutenant in the commissary. He practices traditional Japanese martial arts, Aikido, and Jodo. Sir, I got your brief bio from your PA in the office. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome our chief guest, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Mara. Dear participants in this first ever inaugural Pacific Civic Hackathon, I was afraid when Mara was reading my bio that the bio would be longer than the speech. And it made me realize I became really old. But the good thing about it is that now you know my birthday. So you can all send me gifts on October the 5th, which would be great. More seriously, it gives me great pleasure to open this first ever hackathon in the Pacific. Today, I will speak to you about the priorities the European Union gives to digital transformation, about what we try to achieve in this time and age in the Pacific, and finally, a couple of advice for the hackathon itself. So, digital transformation is among the top priorities of the European Union worldwide. You maybe remember that when this commission, and we elect a European Commission every 5 years, when this commission took office, they had 7 priorities. Of course, the top priority, and it's very relevant for the Pacific, is the European Green Deal. But the second priority of the European Union was to make the European Union fit for the digital age, because we realized that we have a lot to catch up in that area. Of course, here we're in the Pacific. So in the Pacific, our top priorities translate into the strategy of the European Union for cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. There we have 6 priorities, but one of them is, again, digital transformation. Then most recently, because the house I belong to, the European Union has this tendency to publish new strategies every now and then, and actually more often than I can keep up with. So back in December, we issued a new strategy, which we call Global Gateways, to see how we can connect people, the planet, and people and the planet together. In these Global Gateways, which is all about connectivity, again, we have digital. So you can see that digital transformation, the digital age, digital tools, everything is very much among the top priorities of the European Union. My second point, because it's not only about global priorities which don't mean anything, and Emmeline from PIANGO alluded to that. It's very difficult when you live in an isolated island in the Pacific to see what's in it for you when we have big speeches on climate change and resilience and sustainable development and good management. So what's important is to realize that now is the time and the Pacific is the place where digital solutions have to be promoted. Now is the time because we all lived through it, COVID-19. During the past 2 years, I teleworked. I work from home. And today I made an effort. You can see I have a pants. When I work from home, I work in shorts and flip-flops. And I'm just wondering, when I saw the chaplain there with this nice background and wearing a shirt and a tie, I couldn't help but think, is he wearing pants? Or is he wearing shorts and flip-flops? But seriously, these past 2 years have been difficult. Because of COVID-19, we had to turn to telework. We had to work from home. We had to participate in online events, video conferences. I was sick of video conferences, especially because most of my video conferences take place with Brussels, which is in between 10 and 12 hours time difference. So when all of you sleep here comfortably, I was connected to my video conferences. And really, after 2 years, I'm happy that it won't be that often anymore. Today is still a hybrid event. I call it a hybrid event because one part of the crowd is in the room. One part of the crowd is online, connected. They're the most comfortable, by the way, because they can keep the camera on and go and have their coffee and everything, and we don't even realize that. Here you have to behave, because I can see you. I'm very grateful that USP actually made available this gigantic facility, because we can see we're still in a period of transition between the time when we used to be packed in small rooms and the time when we had to respect physical distancing. So I was just joking before the camera was on, that it was nice to be in the Japanese ICT center so that everyone could stay 2 meters apart from his or her neighbor. And I'm very glad that actually you decided to come closer. It's nice to see your real faces, I mean, not on the big screen. In these past 2 years also, our life turned to digital. It's not only our work. I lost sight of so many friends. I had to see newborns on a video screen. I had to attend my friend's wedding on a screen. I buried some people on a screen during funerals. That would not have been possible without the technology and without the tools which are available to us. Even to fight COVID-19, one of the most powerful tools we had in Europe was the digital COVID certificate. Without the COVID certificate, we could not do anything. I know because I went back to France for the holiday. Without the COVID certificate, which I still have in my pocket, it's on my phone, you can't go anywhere if you don't show the QR code, which testifies that you are vaccinated or you had a test or you recovered from COVID-19. Life was just impossible. So now is the time to make the most of the solutions which the technological digital world makes available to us. And of course, it is especially true in the Pacific, because COVID-19 or not, the Pacific is still the most isolated region in the world. COVID-19 or not, I am accredited to 13 Pacific Island countries, and I also cover the 3 French overseas countries and territories. I would like to go there as often as I can. Today, there is a big conference in Palau. I was just talking to Emesra before. because she's acting representative for UNDP today because her boss is in Palau. He left 3 days ago. It took him 3 days to go there. It will take him 3 days to come back. You factor in the 5 days he will be there. So we'll be acting for 11 days. You know that. But even without COVID-19, it is still extremely difficult in the Pacific to have real physical events because of the time incurred. 6 days to travel back and forth to Palau because of the cost. I had a look at the plane ticket, which would have taken me from Nandi to Los Angeles and then to Honolulu and then Guam and then Palau. That was 12,000 euros. That's just too much money. So regardless of what happens, the Pacific will always be the perfect place to make the most of digital connections. We all witnessed the events in Tonga, the volcano eruption, which severed the cable. Tonga was totally off the grid for more than a month. It was impossible for us to reach them. So it shows you the importance of being connected, of being able to make use of digital tools and connections in a region like the Pacific. This is the reason why when we implement EU projects like this one with the United Nations Development Programme and the Pacific Island Association of Non-Governmental Organizations and the Pacific Island chapter of the Internet Society, we always think digital. Just let me give you a few examples because I'm not here to sell you a catalog of what we do, but I will do it nonetheless a little bit. We have a project on access to justice with Fiji. In this project, we decided to digitalize the Legal Aid Commission. We digitalized the case law for the courts. We opened video conferences facilities when the first lockdown was decided to allow the inmates in prisons to attend their court procedures and to see their families and lawyers who could not travel because of the lockdown. In the Pacific, we implement the Pacific European Union Marine Partnership. There, we developed an app, which is called For Fiji Smart Fish. I don't know who came up with this name, but it's quite an appropriate name to share best practices in sustainable fishing across the different countries which are involved in this program. In Fiji, we implement budget support to rural livelihood. And there, we digitalize the agricultural census. Across the region, we have a technical cooperation and capacity building facility, TechBuff, which provided video conferencing facilities in Pacific Island country governments to allow them to take part in these video conferences. That was the only way to stay connected during COVID-19. We do a lot using digital technology. And I think moving forward, and that's my last point, we will need to think about digital tools like we think about climate change, sustainable development, human rights, gender, or good governance. I mean, we will need to mainstream it. Whatever we do, we will have to integrate, incorporate this dimension of digital transformation, how we can use this. Because there are two ways to act on it, as usual, when you do projects. Either you have dedicated projects, or you try to incorporate that dimension into everything you do. And I think moving forward, now that COVID-19 has shown us the importance of this digital society, and that in the Pacific it will remain forever relevant, we will have to incorporate it in whatever we do. So you go to the bathroom, you go with your phone. You eat with your phone. So you stay connected at all times. For those who will participate in this hackathon, you will have to be mindful of three things. The first one is, of course, make the most of technology. But don't forget, technology will always fail you. We had the perfect example in Tonga. They had internet, they had everything. The cable was cut. No technology to rely upon anymore. And you can have the best, of the most cutting edge, of the most recent, of the most expensive technology. It will never be totally reliable. I was in touch with Starlink, you know, Elon Musk company. So when you start speaking about Elon Musk, people who are holding their phone, suddenly they have their head up. Yeah. Oh, I know this name, I know this guy. So his company was willing to provide Starlink connection, satellite internet connection to Tonga for free because the cable was severe. So I helped them a little bit. And that's new technology, but that's also old technology. They had to move 15 tons of equipment to kickstart Starlink connection in Tonga. It took 4 weeks. So it's not immediate, and it's not as easy as snapping your finger. When you have to start from scratch, technology is difficult. So think about technology, but don't totally rely on technology. Because the second element is even more important than technology. It's that you have to remain human. The human factor is what makes the difference. That's why I like these real life events. I can shake your hands. I can kiss your cheek. I can give you a hug. I can hear your clap. Because online, you don't hear the clap. You just see people like, there's no sound coming in because we tell them, mute your mic. So I like this real life atmosphere, the capacity we have to see eye to eye, to see your reactions to what I say. So when I see people who start dozing off, I know it's time for me to end my speech because it's been too long. The single most important part of what you do, it's not technology. It's not the human contact. It's fun. Whatever you do, if you don't have fun, it will fail. So happy hacking. Use the technology. Keep the human factor at the center, but have fun. Thank you for today. Don't forget to follow me on my social media account. That's not a paid advertisement, or it is because we gave a grant to this program after all. But no, have fun, and thank you for having me.
Merci beaucoup, Mr. Ambassador and Vinakavakalevu, sir. With our speeches and formalities almost coming to an end, thank you everyone for bearing with us. And I know it's almost morning tea time, but you can ask your burning questions, or you can go and meet the ambassador and our distinguished guests outside when we have morning tea. But be mindful, we only have 10 minutes unless the organizing team gives me the go ahead to continue morning tea for an extra 10 minutes. With that being done and said, please let us all give our speakers this morning the usual, because we want to show everybody that we are not just on Zoom, but we also present here at the theater. Okay, just before we break for morning tea, I would like to invite everybody for a group photo. Can I ask the admin with the organizing team to have everybody on Zoom on the screen so that they can be part of our group photo? We can stand in front of this big screen and have everybody that has joined us virtually and face to face. Can you, for our virtual participants, can you please turn on your cameras? We'd like to see your lovely faces and also have you being part of our group photo. And the rest of us here in the room, can you please come down, and our team, our media team will organize the photo.